morning. You're watching a brand new week on ET Now, and this is Market Cafe with me, Snehi Shah, and with me, as always, is Shreyansi Singh. Thanks so much for starting your day with us. And well, exciting day is lined up ahead of us because in what could cheer the markets after a choppy week, exit polls are suggesting a resounding win for the current NDA government. All major exit polls predicted a third term for the Modi government, indicating with numbers ranging from 281 to 401 seats. And interestingly enough, much of the BJP's gains are coming from the south, which was their only Achilles heel back in 2019. The poll of polls suggests a 366-seat victory. On the other hand, the INDIA bloc is projected to win about 140 seats, but the Congress has called the exit polls sarkari data, saying that the real result will be in the favor of the opposition alliance. Parties that are not attached to either side, including the Biju Janata Dal and the Trinamool Congress, may end up securing the rest of the 40-odd seats.
Right, and meanwhile, the verdict of the assembly elections in two northeastern states was also announced. In Sikkim, the ruling SKM is set to return to power, with the party winning 31 out of the 32 seats. And the BJP has also retained power in Arunachal Pradesh for the third time in a row after winning 46 seats. Now, all eyes will be on June 4th, which is today, to find out, tomorrow, which is to find out whether it's a hat trick for the BJP or if the India bloc can spring a surprise as well. Well, let's also go across and listen into what Nikunj Dalmia, Editor-in-Chief, ET Now, is making of the exit poll outcome. Then let's take a look at what he had to say.
The headline for everybody is that there is a vote for continuity. These are exit polls, but if you look at the sum total of many exit polls, that looks like the ground reality is something which everybody can really reconcile with. I think the bigger reaction could be there in the currency market and in the bond market. Let's not when equity markets they go higher, it's great news. We all tend to get excited. But I think, frankly, the biggest story for me is in the bond market. The biggest story for me also will come in the currency market. So all those markets eventually would be reacting. Now, it's very strange if one looks at the market positioning. I'm talking about the pure near term here. The near term is that we all know that FI in the run-up to the election cycle, they were short. Domestic institutional investors are sitting on cash, and the retail positioning, at least in the last couple of days, was not all that long. So the markets may be at an all-time high, but the underlying participation in the market has not been extremely exciting. GST numbers are strong. Dow was up. So we are in for a big gap-up start. From there, I think you will see FI short covering, especially in the FI-dominated stock, looking at the data what we have. What would be interesting to see that post-4th, what kind of inertia the markets will continue to generate on, because then the narrative would clearly move to the next 100 days or the first 100 days of the Modi 3.0. So I think that, in a sense, would be the new narrative which markets would focus on.
All right, well, Nikunj is predicting a big gap up open, and that's exactly what the GIFT Nifty is implying at 23,361.5. A gap up start indeed after a Nifty high of 23,110. So, well, let's also go across and listen into what the top market honchos, political analysts had to say on this exit poll outcome and what the consensus on the street is looking like. Listen in.
I expect the results of 2019 to be roughly replicated this time, with the BJP reaching around 300 and allies getting another about 30 to 40 or 50 seats maximum. But this time, as in 2004, the key thing is some of the key allies are not doing that well. I'm told that some of the BJP's allies in Maharashtra, Bihar, are certainly struggling. Just in 2004, I think Vajpayee's allies in Andhra and Tamil Nadu did badly. So this time it is Bihar and Maharashtra, where the BJP itself is probably struggling, is not struggling, but let's say not doing as well as it seemed to do in the recent assembly polls, is probably Rajasthan and to some extent in Haryana. Elsewhere, I think it is doing pretty well. And in the south and in the east, it is making gains. That seems to be the general trend that all the exit polls are showing. And even some of the better exit polls like the Axis My India, India Today one, are showing large gains in the south for the BJP and in the east. So I think the market will be pretty happy that status quo is good enough.
Our particular opinion poll is saying that things are going to be much the same. The Congress will be where it is. The BJP will be where it is. in which case it will be a triumph for the BJP. It will be a triumph for Mr. Modi personally. And the manifesto had basically said more of the same. It was not promising radical changes of any kind. It was saying we've done such a good job, we are going to continue doing these things. And I think that is what we are going to see. So I think that will be the case as far as the market is concerned. I think it will be reasonably happy with what's happening. There are, if there had been a sharp fall in the Modi vote, the market might have reacted badly. As things are, I think the market will do quite well. I do not think, therefore, there will be major changes in the tax rates. I do not think there will be a major change in the giveaways of various kinds. They will tweak all kinds of schemes, the Mudra scheme, various other schemes they have, the self-employment schemes, startup schemes. I mean, on all of this, there will be an improvement, an attempt to scale up, but I do not expect any radical change.
Of course, the exit poll kind of gives one more thumbs up sign towards continuity, which probably some people started questioning in the recent, last few weeks. Of course, I always believed that, they will be between 350 to 400, and continuity is kind of given. So to some extent, you might see some short covering or a little bit of, buying, in early days. I think this will last probably 1 or 2 days, and then probably market will be back to normal because this is a vote for continuity, and once the initial euphoria and short covering happens, that can lead markets 2-3% higher, maybe a little bit more. But I guess then probably the market gets back to normal routine of looking back to fundamentals, and I do of course see one of the best wealth creation cycle in the markets ahead, and some of the skeptics who've been sitting on the sidelines probably start coming or would start coming in.
Well, all right, that's the word coming in from political analysts as well as market experts. But let's also go across and take a look at what brokerages are making out of this exit poll. Now, HSBC says we may see a strong market open today, and exit polls projecting bigger win than 2019 for the BJP-led coalition. Exit poll prediction of the NDA between 316 and 400 seats. Exit polls have removed certain uncertainties around implications of lower vote turnout and fragmented reforms. That's a word coming in from HSBC. Quickly shifting focus, looking at what Jefferies has to say. Exit poll numbers for BJP NDA are much higher than expectations. It's sentimentally positive for the capex stocks, and the entire mid space, the small and mid caps, can take a near-term breather post the election rally. Pre-election stock trend generally continues. The laggard large caps are a good tactical positioning. Potential FII reversal can favor large caps like private banks, Reliance, and they're also liking real estate, industrials, power from a long-term perspective as well. So that's the view also coming in from Jefferies. Let's also talk about what Nomura has to say, and BJP should get 305 to 320 seats, well above the 2019 mark, and the market expectation of 297 is what Nomura is saying. 2014 and 2019 exit polls had underestimated the NDA win, and they see an upside risk of this. Verdict would imply policy continuity, sustained focus on capex, fiscal consolidation, and exit polls pay way more FPI inflows. They also expect domestic sectors, particularly infra, manufacturing, and the capex theme, to outperform in the near term. Also, let's also take a look at what Axis Capital has to say this morning. BJP has retained most seats in the north and west while gaining in the east and south. The rise in vote share shows support for government policies, and even adverse results on the 4th of June, that's tomorrow, is unlikely to change the nature of the verdict, is the word coming in from Axis Cap as well.
Well, absolutely. And let's also take a look at what MOSL had to say then. And what they're talking about is that BJP may inch closer to the 40% vote share versus 37.3% in 2019. And they're also talking about how NDA is likely to touch 47% vote share versus 45% in 2019. And they're also talking about how there would be a push to reforms, the likes of UCC, ONOP, as well as farm law. And the market focus will be shifting to fundamentals as well. So that's the word coming in from MOSL. Let's also take a look at what sectors they're overweight on, and they're talking about financials, consumption, industrials, as well as real estate that make it to their list. In terms of their preferred themes, then you do have industrials, consumer discretionary, as well as real estate and PSU banks that make it to that list. Let's also take a quick look at the large cap ideas then, and MOSL is talking about ICICI Bank, SBI, L&T, Coal India, M&M, and as well as Adani Ports, ABB and HPCL and Hindalco making it to that list. And when you take a look at the mid cap ideas, then they're talking about Indian Hotels, Godrej Properties, Global Health, and the likes of Cello World, etc. that make it to their mid-cap ideas list as well. Lastly, let's also take a look at what CLSA had to say then. They're talking about how the government will be focusing on macro stability as well as rural and manufacturing as well. And they're also talking about how the market has largely priced in a third Modi term. So that's the verdict coming in from CLSA as well on the exit polls.
Alright, well, that's a lowdown on everything that's been happening in the country in terms of elections, what market honcho.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.